Hey y'all, welcome back to Krista's Kitchen. So, as promised, we are continuing our Marching In with Casserole collab with a dessert casserole. So, my daughter Eleanor is here to help us with this dessert casserole, and we are making Girl Scout cookie casserole. And this is supposed to taste like her favorite Girl Scout cookie. So, let's get into it. Okay, y'all, sorry, but a switch up. So, Eleanor decided to go inside. She said she's feeling really stressed out right now and she doesn't feel like she can do the video. So since we're already making it and in the process, I'm going to continue for you. So all she did was we took 6 tablespoons of salted butter, put it down in the bottom of our pan, of our casserole dish, and pop this in the oven just to let it melt. We are going to finish up her recipe, and maybe this will help brighten whatever's going on. But she says she's just really stressed out with school right now, which is understandable. Like I tell her, that's her job, and we all get stressed out with our jobs. So sometimes we just need to take a break. To our butter, we're adding 1/2 cup of sweetened shredded coconut, and then we're going to add in that 1.5 cups of crushed Nilla wafers that she was crushing up. Now see, we've got some big chunks in here, so we'll pull those over to the side. Her recipe says we need 1.5 cups. There's a little bit more than that. I'm just going to go ahead and pour it in. Okay, so we're just going to mix this all together, and we're going to be careful because our pan is hot. I'm hoping that I don't forget that and grab it. Poor baby. I feel so bad for her now. She's been wanting to make this casserole, and I'm not sure what happened today. It's probably, we've been very busy and on the go. So, just like we all need a little slowdown. But we'll have a talk later and make sure there's not something extra going on. Okay. So we're just going to take the back of our spoon and kind of press this down to make our crust. Okay, so we're going to pop this back in the oven at 350 for about 10 minutes. While that bakes, we're going to work on our next layer. So we're taking 1 large box of chocolate instant pudding mix or 2 small boxes. They don't equal out to exactly the same, but I figure either one will work. We're going to pour this down into our pan or our bowl. And we're going to whisk in 2 cups of cold milk. So we're going to set this to the side and work on our next layer. So since we have the oven already going, I'm actually going to skip to the topping and just sprinkle on about 1 cup of the sweetened shredded coconut, and this will be what we sprinkle on the top of, how many times can I say sprinkle at once? This is what we will put on the top of our dessert once it comes out and we have our layers all built. But we're just going to pop this coconut in the oven and toast it up. And that step won't take but just a minute or 2. So while that toasts up, we're going to switch to our cream layer. So in our stand mixer, or you can use a hand mixer, we're going to add 1 block of softened cream cheese and 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. We're just going to mix this together until it's evenly mixed. And now we're just going to slowly mix in 2 cups of heavy cream. And I almost feel like our whisk attachment would work better, so that's what I'm going to switch to. I think what the recipe probably should say is that we need to whip this up because this texture is not looking like the texture in Eleanor's recipe printout. So let's see if this will work better. So definitely use a whisk attachment when you get to this step, because this is that nice fluffy texture that we want to get from that heavy cream. So you're getting more of a mousse instead of a liquid. Okay, so now we just wait for our crust to come out of the oven. Okay, so a heads up, at 10 minutes, this is what we look like. And we're a little bit over toasty, in my opinion, around the edges. So maybe go about 8 minutes and see where you're at. We should be checking it anyway, so I should have checked it sooner. And my oven may be hotter than hers. So I'm taking 1 jar of caramel sauce and pouring this over the top. Y'all hear that sizzle? Okay, so I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. Again, be careful of the pan. It is hot. Okay, so we definitely need to let this cool before moving on to our other steps, especially since they are cold layer steps. So I'm going to pop these 2 bowls in the fridge and then let this cool down for quite a while. Okay, so our bottom layer has had plenty of time to cool down, and our other layers have been sitting in the fridge while that was going on. So now we're just going to smooth over the top of our caramel this chocolate pudding layer. And I'm glad this isn't a ton of pudding. Like, I still feel like it's a good bit, but I'm glad it's not so much more, because then I would just feel like it's a pudding dessert. Next up is our cream cheese and heavy cream and sugar layer. I'm just spreading that out as evenly as we can. And then our very top layer is this toasted coconut that we did earlier in the oven. And last but not least, it calls for some chocolate syrup drizzled across the top. You could probably also melt some chocolate and get the same effect. Okay, so we're going to pop this in the fridge, and it says to let it chill for about 2 hours. Then we'll come back and taste test together and see how it turned out. Okay, y'all, so I started slicing and forgot that I need to do a little outro. You'll see somebody already got into it over there. That's just for me scraping a little spatula. But we're going to cut into this and scoop up and see how it all turned out. So this is just like the first cut of pie. It doesn't hold together very well, but maybe our next piece will. And that caramel is sticking to the bottom pretty good. Let's see if we can slide this piece out. So it looks like it's going to be one of those desserts that do more of a scoop kind of method than actually layering. Well, it kind of came together pretty much like a pie piece. It just doesn't hold that pretty shape. So let's give it a taste test. Y'all, that is delicious.